I was probably 27 at the time, where I had my gym, I had my business, it was growing, and I reached a point where I dropped the ball. I had a client that joined my company. They paid a solid amount up front. It was an investment for them, and I couldn't fathom having dropped this ball 3 years prior. But there I was. I had to own it. I had to apologize to that client. And I had to say, I'm sorry. And here's your money back. And essentially, will you let me try again? And they had every right to say no. And they did. I lost a client. And that was probably, knowing how long a member was going to be with our company at that time, it was probably a $10,000 mistake. Now, if you're mid-20s, you have a dream of saving up for a house, or you want to scale your business up, $10,000 walking out the door is already heartbreaking enough. But then you kind of have to be prepared for the bad review, for the bad mouth talk going around, the opposite of good word of mouth, right? And I've heard it said before, one satisfied customer will maybe tell one person, one disappointed or angry customer will tell the world. And unfortunately, we did experience that. It was just one bad review. We owned it. We earned it, to be honest. We even commented and apologized on, I think it was on Yelp at the time. But that was a turning point for me, because I realized I could not do it all. I couldn't do it, and something had to change. And that's when I came across a book called The E-Myth. And it's a book about systems. It's a book about models and systems, and basically how to duplicate yourself. And I have here something that I've found really helpful in the real estate space. And regardless of what space you're in, this could be helpful in the gym space, in the real estate space, in the customer service of any type of space. And it's building your blueprint for scalable success. And so there's 3 steps to this, and we're going to talk about like little mini steps in the middle. But for the most part, you have 3 parts here. You have system optimization. Now, this is a really hard concept for a lot of entrepreneurs to grasp, because you're so go, go, go. There's always a fire to put out. There's always a client to help. And once you're in the thick of it, let's say you have a tough escrow, you're not taking notes. You're not worrying about working on your business. You're stuck in your business. So one of the things we do with our clients is we sit them down and we walk them through every step of a new customer. And not only that, when they close escrow or when they hit a certain milestone, then what happens? And I always like to tell my clients, put yourself in your client's shoes. What are they thinking at this point? Once they finish your 6-month program, what are they thinking? What doubts are they having? What obstacles have they hit or overcome? And what obstacles are they going to see in 3 months? Real estate space. They just closed escrow on their house. They're really excited. Do you have a system in place to keep providing value for that first year? Because you know, from home warranty expiring to supplemental property tax bill to, I mean, you name it, HOA, or things that they agreed to fix per the city pre-inspection, pre-sale inspection. So do you have something for year 1, year 2, year 3? Next is you're going to see if you can replicate that success anywhere, scalable growth. Are you writing these things down? So yes, you're optimizing your system, but are you writing it down so that it can be scaled? And then the third step is, are you empowering your team to turn around and do this? Now, I am a fitness person. I love my fitness world. I love nutrition, working out, and I will admit, I love McDonald's. I do. I think that it is delicious. I think they have just figured out what their niche is, and they've zeroed it on it. Not only that, can you really hate McDonald's? I mean, they have some of the biggest scholarships for kids that you've ever come across. They're the #1 toy distributor in the world. Bet you didn't know that. And they have a system that puts all other systems to shame. And I'll tell you I know this because I have had the pleasure of traveling to Europe with my wife. When we went to a McDonald's in Paris or in Italy or in, and now why are we going to McDonald's out there? I don't know. I think maybe we're budgeting at the time. But guess what? The food, exactly. I mean, there's a little twist to it, of course, because the ingredients are different. They don't have control over that. But you still got a 19-year-old kid back there. You still got a 22-year-old kid overseeing the operations. And it is exactly what you would think McDonald's is going to put out. And it's because they have a system, an assembly line of how much they do on every single thing. And if you haven't seen the movie, I think it's called The Founder. It's about Ray Kroc and how he basically turned McDonald's into the juggernaut that it is. And I'm going to read this here. Success depends on systems, not just skill or talent. And going back to the entrepreneur space, you are successful because you are skilled. There's no doubt about that. You are successful because you are talented. No one would ever say otherwise. And yet, why do entrepreneurs fail? It's because they don't put systems in place. So here's the question. Could someone with no experience walk in and succeed? We used to call this the hit by a bus, and there's no good name for it, but the concept was, if you have your business written out, your business models, your goals, your systems, and you got hit by a bus tomorrow, you're going to make it. This isn't going to be as morbid of a story as I used to be told it. Let's say you're just out for 3 months, 5 months. Can somebody pick up your business plan and run with it? That's the big question. So here are the core components of a perfect system. Clarity. Already, I'm going to lose most every coaching client here, and we're going to spend time on this. I need step-by-step instructions. What does it look like to open your facility? Where's the light switch? What kind of music do you want playing when a customer comes into your dry cleaning service? What kind of smell do you want your clients to have when they walk into the changing room of your gym? What type of lighting? I mean, you need to have every single thing down. This takes a lot of time, a huge investment, but it will pay off in spades later. Measurement, track and improve performance metrics. With these changes, what are you seeing? We've always used to say only what measures can be improved and tracked. So if you are not tracking, and for real estate agents, this one's kind of easy. How many appointments you're getting, how many closings you get. Those are pretty straightforward. They're pretty easy to track. But if you're on a faster churn, like maybe you're in shoe repairs, how many calls do you need to make? How many inquiries do you need to get? If you are dry cleaning, how many upsells do you need to get? What is your conversion rate to upselling a client when they come in for one service? Can you upsell them on another service that maybe they didn't know you had? If you're a gym space, how much money are you putting in ads in order to get X number of leads? And are we tracking the conversion on that? And then consistency. We used to do this all the time with our gym, is to become a secret shopper. Go in on one of your classes and see what it's like. Is it consistent? The McDonald's analogy that I gave is the ultimate form of consistency. We jumped over the Atlantic Ocean, went to another country, and we tested, all in the name of science, the consistency of the McDonald's system, and it passed with flying colors. And then a feedback loop, detect and fix breakdowns quickly. This means you are keeping an eye on your business. Now, there's a difference here. Working in your business, working on your business. Working in your business, if you were a pool repair person, would be you are checking the chemicals of the water. You are making sure that you're cleaning the pool properly. You're making sure the vehicles are maintained so you can get to the properties on time. Working on your business is checking if you are optimizing your ads, checking to make sure that your Google reviews, that you're asking for Google reviews. So there's a huge difference working in your business, working on your business. Feedback loops are working on your business. You're going to monitor the metrics. You're going to see how things are going. And the feedback part is key, because if something's not correct, you're going to go back and fix it, almost like you're turning a little knob, and then you're going to take a step back and watch for another couple weeks. Okay, that worked okay. Let's try this knob. Let's try this change, this adjustment, and let's see how we like that. That is a feedback loop. That's working on your business. Now, this translates to any business. Your job, going back to the clarity, is your job is to identify exactly what your business is doing, what is success to you, and then you're gonna write out your systems in order to achieve that success. So identify your menu, your core offer, and then the kitchen operations. These are your SOPs, standard operating procedures. Hard for people to do, and you can see at the bottom here, document SOPs. Then when you hire somebody, and this is the beauty of a leverage, when you hire somebody, if you have spent the time, hours, days, dare I say months, finalizing and just optimizing your SOPs, then when you hire somebody off the street, let's say a 19-year-old, and you want them to work the front desk, you hand them the SOPs for that specific role. They don't need to know how to balance the sheets, or they don't need to know how to work the balance sheets or the P&Ls or contact insurance. They're working the front desk. So you have your SOPs for the front desk. They run that play, and then through the feedback loop, you are going to be evaluating how they're doing. And by the way, with our coaching clients, there's actually a really simple way of how we do this. It turns into a grading rubric for every single role in your business. And then you're going to leverage technology, and we can get into that in the future. But here we go. This is kind of to wrap it up. This is how to build your scalable system. So first, you're going to start small, kind of like what we said. What do they want to see? What do they want to smell? What kind of lighting? What is the atmosphere that you're trying to achieve? And then you're going to protect those standards. This is really hard for some of our clients, because here's what's going to happen. You have a perfect class outlined or a perfect presentation for your clients, and you're going to monitor one of your employees or your team members doing it. And you're going to notice that maybe they skipped step 7. That is your crossroads moment. Are you going to correct them, or are you going to let it slide? Now, here's the issue if you let it slide. Eventually, you're going to get someone that skips step 7 and maybe step 8. And eventually, you're going to start to notice people are falling through a certain crack. They're not getting followed up with, or the expectation is not set correctly. And you're going to go back and you're going to see, oh, had we been doing steps 7 and 8, they probably wouldn't have been happening like that. So protecting the integrity, really difficult to do. And then you're going to balance it. Look, you have to stay with a level of balance. You can't jump on your members or yourself if you're not following every single rule, but there needs to be some balance to it. So that is where you earn your big bucks. Are you able to, let's go back to the McDonald's analogy, are you able to appreciate that your members, your team members, the people on your team are going to be doing things slightly different because they are different people, while also maintaining the integrity of that system? Now, for real estate agents, the beauty of what we do is you have a very predictable timeline. Escrow has some pretty key chapters in it. Now, there are definitely wrinkles thrown in. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but for the most part, there are contingencies that are going to be in place that have to be removed. There's a lender, there's an appraiser, there's requests for repairs. A lot of these things are pretty standard. So you already have an assembly line kind of outlined for you. Your job now is to go through every single step of this and to fine tune it so that the end result is the same every single time. Exactly how they do it over at McDonald's. So I hope this was helpful, guys. This is your blueprint for scalable success, meaning this is the blueprint. You're going to follow this exact model, and this is how you're going to be able to scale without losing the integrity of your product or service. So make sure you stick with something like this. If you need help, it is really hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. That's what I've always been told. If you reach a blind spot, you need some assistance, please reach out. We're always available to do a deep dive with any entrepreneur out there. We are adaptable to any system, any business, any model, and we love to help you out.